and welcome to the January 2023 Global Outlook video from the Economist Intelligence Unit. My name is Agathe Demarais, and I'm the Global Forecasting Director at EIU. I'm joined today by Yue Su, our Principal Economist for China based in Shanghai. And today we're going to discuss China's exit from its zero-COVID policy. So, Yu, I'm going to turn to you with the first question. China is rapidly refashioning its COVID policy, accelerating its exit from zero COVID. How do things look like, and what's the outlook for the coming weeks?
Thank you, Agathe. The Chinese government indeed announces a suite of policy documents in early December, and actually removing most of the disruptive policies related to zero COVID, and also kicking off a change in its current COVID strategy from prevention to treatment. And the changes actually is also a reflection that under the highly transmissible Omicron, the current zero COVID policy that China has been adopting in the past 3 years is proven to be unsustainable and impractical. And at the beginning of at the first week of relaxation, we already started to see caseload surges in certain regions, for example, like in Beijing and Guangzhou. And in order to avoid medical system being overwhelmed, the Chinese central government wanted to adopt a tiered medical treatment system, which encourages the mild symptom cases to stay at home and create rooms and medical resources for treatment of the vulnerable groups and severe cases in the hospitals. However, at the initial stage, we find that some local governments are still struggling with finding the optimal implementation measures. For example, in the capital city, Beijing, long lines and queues has been formed outside of the hospital, and peoples and families are struggling to find medicines for treatment. And we're expected to see that similar problem is going to be replicated across the country very soon. And for certain regions, the problem could be more severe given the uneven distribution of medical resources across the country. And we are also expecting China to see the caseload to reach its peak by end January. That will be exactly around the Chinese New Year period. But after that, we'll see pressures to ease and business sentiment to start to bottom out. But before that, we're expected to see supply chains and consumption's disruption as happened to many major economies after COVID relaxation.
And actually, that leads me to my second question. How does the recovery look like for the Chinese economy in 2023 after the worst of the epidemic and of this wave is over?
Yeah, so although economic activities will firstly take a hit, but faster exit from zero COVID is overall a good news for China's economy as well as the global economy. So we thus decided to revise up our China's GDP outlook for 2023 and 2024 to 5.2% and 4.8% respectively. And the recovery next year will be featured by a very weak beginning, but with a much stronger second half. And also, after a very difficult Q1, we are going to see economic momentum to started to build in Q2 until the strongest recovery to set in Q3. And also, actually, we want to highlight here is that the recovery picture in China will differ in important ways from the major economies. For example, in the United States, the fiscal stimulus-backed savings actually contributes to a much longer and more prolonged consumption and economic growth. However, in China, the consumption recovery picture will be much more milder compared with the US. This is because the zero COVID actually has a negative impact on household income, and also there is basically no household-focused fiscal stimulus being implemented by the Chinese government after the outbreak of COVID-19. And the same logic also applies to China's overseas traveling and spending as well. We now expect China to open its border and remove all the related COVID restrictions for international traveling and tourism. So that means that the world can expect a return of China's tourists in the second half of 2023. However, we would like to caution that neither the volume or spending levels will be able to reach to the pre-pandemic levels within 2023. And that means that the boost to global tourism by China's opening up will be positive, but will be very limited. This is because that the public will continue to have health concerns, and also the income growth weaknesses will continue to act as a negative factor or drag factor to consumption expansion.
Thanks so much, Yue, for all your insights, and thanks to all of you for watching us today. See you next month. Goodbye.